If you're in Lagos, you already know that there are new rules in Lagos right now. All social gathering has been cancelled until further notice. Places like London, the UK. I was reading early hours of this morning that Durban has cancelled any flight coming in from the United Kingdom to Dublin. They have cancelled all flights. And Germany has put off some really strict, more stiffer restrictions with regards to this particular time. And there's a new strain of the coronavirus, which they say is pretty difficult. And please, now is not the time to downplay this. If you have friends and family in the US who are thinking of coming back home, I think it's best they stay there and they can try come home maybe in the middle of next year when we finally have a solutions to all of this. Because it's like we just discovered a new vaccine, and I saw them doing the whole vaccine thing on one of the channels, and then seeing somebody collapse, and I'm like, what exactly is happening? I thought we're getting out of this already, but it looks like we're still going to be here for a very long time. So let's just do well to make sure that we wash our hands regularly, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer if you're not close to any source of water, and always put on your nose mask. Good morning, Mr. Adeyemi Adeolu, for joining us today again, Monday.
Good morning, Dad.
Yes, how was the weekend?
Oh, well, it's okay.
Mine was very restful. I was home all through Friday, Saturday. After the Friday after the radio, I just went home straight off and I just went to rest. And Saturday, I went home to see family. I came back Sunday morning. I came home, I just ate, tried seeing a movie, and I just kept sleeping.
On Saturday, I have to travel down to Ibejulek area. In the course of my coming back, I have to drop off my client who will travel together in Magodo Isheri. The next thing coming out from Magodo Isheri, I saw this huge black flame.
Oh my God!
Smoke. Then before I knew it, tanker.
The same bridge.
The same bridge, brother.
That you always.
Oh my God! God! I said, thank God that I've passed before that, because man, I'm always concerned about that bridge. Yes. I don't go through that bridge. Honestly, if I have my choice, I don't go through it.
All right. We just hope that they finally find a solution to this bridge, because I was talking to someone yesterday. I was like, what exactly could be the problem? Is it the bridge? Because at some point I feel like, we need to blame the tanker drivers, but this time I think we need to look at the tanker drivers and the bridge.
I said something some time ago. I said there is this documentary program I do watch on the DSTV in relation to inspection of vehicles in Australia and New Zealand. You see trucks like tankers and all the articulated vehicles.
Okay.
When they are moving on the road, you see the police officers stopping them, inspection officers. They stop them. They have all the gadgets to test their tire, the brakes, everything. Make sure it's performing optimally. If they see that there is one of the components of the car is found wanting, they will delay the car. They will delay the vehicle. Sorry, they will delay that truck until it is fixed. It will not move on the road. That's what we ought to do. We should stop this. I don't know. Road safety, the safety they are doing in Nigeria is to check your documents. If that's road safety, I don't understand. I'm surprised.
How is that road safety?
Please, I want you to invite Omeje, one of these. That's the assistant corps marshal.
Okay.
You have to invite him to your radio to come and tell us so that they can elaborate more on their course of duty, to the people and to Nigeria at large, because it's becoming worrisome that the only thing you see the road safety doing on the road is just checking particulars, your vehicle particulars and your license. But all that parts of the vehicle, they are not interested in it.
And those are like the major things that they should be more concerned about.
Safety is not only the vehicle particulars. It's not your license. Yes, your license is important, that you must have a license. That's not the only thing. What about the vehicle itself that is being shuffled on the road? It's been driven on the road.
Yes.
What about it? What's the condition? What's the state of that vehicle? These are the things they need to look into. And most especially, they should look more at the commuters, the transporters, the commercial vehicles, and these articulated vehicles. It is very, very important. When you look at the major accident that's happened over the time on our roads, it's either by the commercial transporters or by these articulated vehicles.
Yesterday, as I was
well.
coming back on the that's the Kara bridge, there was a truck that the whole front has already been compressed.
They were two. You only saw one. They were two. When I was going out in that Saturday morning, when I was going, I saw them. So that's what we saw on Saturday morning when we were going out. But coming back, that's when the other one happened.
The other one happened. Well, this is the festive season. Please, let's be very careful as we go out there. Let us do well to also drive carefully. If you have no business being outdoor, please remain indoor. Just try to reach out to family and friends over phone. Everybody should understand the times that we have found ourselves right now. You too can be part of the newspaper review this morning. All you have to do is send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317 56537. We're going to start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's take headlines of the Punch. State plan tough enforcement as new COVID-19 cases surge. And the Kankara schoolboys rescue. Presidency aligns with army. Contradicts Masari. It's on the Punch newspaper. Ogbomoso indigents reject Lautech multiple campus proposal. And over 70 killed during the EndSARS in Lagos unclaimed. This is coming in from a particular son. Serap urged President Buhari to stop NIM registration for SIM cards. And another 4 killed in southern Kaduna, fresh attack. And PDP faults APC's call for Godwin Obaseki's resignation over insecurity and debt. All right. The This Day newspaper has the headline, How 80 Castina Islamic pupils were rescued, says police and military. Igbo leaders seek legal backing for rotation of presidency. A Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, GENCO's misrepresenting state of power sector. The federal government ought to assign constitutional role for traditional rulers. I think it's long overdue. And COVID-19 banned flight from UK. Abubakar Atiku advises federal government. The Guardian paper has the headlines, confusions as airline rotation capacity routes. Also, Nigerians shop for multiple sources, affordability, effective COVID-19 vaccine. Oyo State government clarifies downward review of 2021 budget. And also, second lockdown looms as Kaduna bans large gatherings. And Governor Kayode Fayemi makes case for police reform and community policing. It's on the Guardian paper this morning. The Nation has the headline. It says, innovation will determine Nigeria's economic development, says Peter Obi. And Benin youth rejects Togri in politics. And also, troops killed 2 in militant group camp raid. And the Pen Pushing has the headline, Tackle insecurity proactively to stop bloodshed. This is coming in from Are Musulumi, tells Nigerian government. Still on the Pen Pushing, United Nations calls for sufficient intake of fruits to strengthen immune system. And Oyo State First Lady celebrates with children ahead of Christmas. These are the headlines on the dailies this morning. Do well to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317 56537. 070-317 56537 is the number to send us a text or a WhatsApp message to be part of this conversation here this morning. I want to start off with the Punch newspaper with authorities authorized carrying of arms for self-defense. This is coming in from a Zamfara monarch. The Emir of Anka in Zamfara State, Alhaji Atairu Ahmed, has appealed to the state government to allow people of the state to carry arms and defend themselves against banditry. Atairu will pay a condolence visit to the Emir of Kwara Namado, who was attacked by bandits last week. Since the bandit refused to surrender, the government should allow everyone to carry weapons for self-defense. He said peace accord and reconciliation process initiated by Governor Bello Matawalle would not end banditry in the state because the bandits would never give up. Atairu, who is the chairman of the Council for State Council of Chiefs, says one cannot make peace with people who are not ready to embrace peace and reconciliation as initiated by the government. No single individual in this world is above the power of the government unless the government does not want to act. He urged government to, at all levels, to give security operatives the chance to deal with bandits, stressing that security operatives could handle the situation if given the chance and weapons. He recalled that the emir of Kwara, Namado Alhaji Sanusi Ahmed, was attacked along the Zaria Gusau Road on Thursday last week when returning to the state from Abuja, and 8 persons in his convoy were killed. Now, with the situation of things with regards to insecurity, we see this, but where the emir of Ankara is actually coming from is, let's not negotiate. Let's allow these officers to attack these bandits, and we would see that they can actually overcome these people. It looks like the conversations around negotiations and dialogue is failing on this part of insecurity.
Look, there's no time that it's not going to get to that level. It is written in the Bible that the kingdom of God suffereth violence, and the violence is taken by force.
Okay.
In as much as the bandits have refused to down their arms, and you can see that it's even more on the high side. Everywhere banditry here and there, and you can see the spate of killing, of destruction. We can't continue to just be looking and say it's going to get better. No. God will not come down and defend our cause.
Okay.
We have to defend ourselves.
But why do you think negotiations have not worked out? Why do you think amnesty negotiations amnesty has not been able to? It worked in Niger Delta.
Let's look at it. What is their agitation? That's the question you ask.
Okay.
Do they have any agitation? Is there any agenda? Did they have a reason for what they are doing? Have they come up? When you're talking about the Niger Delta, there's a reason for that. We saw the state of how the level of deplorable, the deterioration of their farmland, of their land, the waterways, everything. We saw the state. We saw how the place was neglected, even being the cash cow of Nigeria. We saw how the people were living in abject poverty. That is the reason for that.
Okay.
It was the right cause. But what is the reason for banditry? What is the reason that these people have come up with?
Okay.
That this is the reason why we are doing this. If you can meet our needs, then we will down our tools. There's no reason. They have always seen it as a way of making money. And not only money. You see, you talk about Niger Delta. They did not kill. They were not killing people. That makes a lot of difference. They were not killing. The only time you ever see anything of such in Niger Delta was maybe when the military faced them head on, and they have to fight back. You can't blame them for that. But in this case, the innocent people have been killed.
Yes,
for no reason. The moment they ask for the ransom, and the ransom is not coming on time, they kill. Even if they can take the person along, they kill the person.
Now, I think we also need to look at it from this angle. I'm not sure if this is, but I want to look at the issue of this banditry, because this is not external people. This is our own people.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Niger Delta. This were our own people which the amnesty program was created for them to surrender their weapons. Now, the bandits, we cannot categorically identify what their agenda is or what is their agitation, but let's also look at it from the angle of these are also Nigerians. Shouldn't if we always talk about the sincerity of the government in all of this issue, has the government been sincere with these negotiations or this dialogue with these individuals to bring an end to this level of attack?
Has there been room for dialogue? That's the question we should ask. That's one of the.
Governor of Zamfara State has actually made some moves with regards to
moves he made. Is it dialoguing, telling them to down their tools, or he went there to dialogue to release those students that were being apprehended? We should look at it very well. We should understand what we are talking about. You see, the major thing we have now is that these people, they have started killing. And not only killing, they are making money out of it, and it's now becoming an occupation. You understand? The only, like I've always been saying, that the only way, if all the reason for it is the state of the economy, The poverty that has ridden everybody in Nigeria is the reason for their going to banditry. Yes, let the people do something. But however, before then, if you want, okay, we want the government of the nation to do something about your state of economy. The first thing for you to do is come to table. No, let them know your agitation, that this is the reason why we are doing this. If the economy of the northern state, if the citizen, the indigent of the northern state can be empowered, that they will down their weapons, that will be fine. But that has not come to play. You see that so many things goes on there. You see, what we are seeing, we are only seeing the actions and the inactions of the government, but we don't really know what is underneath until we are able to know what is underneath. That is when you can come to the round table and discuss this issue of amnesty. Yes, yes, Nigerian citizens, they have every right to enjoy everything that where other client may be enjoying.
Okay.
But that will be on the ground that they are ready to come on table and let them know, the government, let the people, let Nigeria as a whole, let them know the reason why they are doing what they are doing. But without that, we saw Niger Delta, they came up, they continue to ask that their environment is being polluted, their environment is being degraded, everything there is being destroyed, their farmland, their waterways, everything. There is oil spill everywhere. They are farmers.
Okay.
They are farmers and fishermen. They couldn't, all this occupation, they could not engage into it anymore. That was the reason those people were crying out there, and that's why they took to arms when the government was not doing anything. And that's the cash cow of the country. Now you're making the billions of dollars out of that place, and you let them in that state, that deplorable state, and you don't want them to say, no, it is enough. We want a better life. That's what they ask for. And the moment the government could come to that level, you saw that everything simmered down immediately. That is a situation that is holistic. There is a genuine reason for that agitation. Yes, I'm not saying that what is happening in the north, they don't have a genuine reason. Yes, they do. Because we should blame the northern elites, the leaders. They are the cause for this. Why? They've neglected these people for a long time. All they continue to do is to cover their face with religion. Cover their face that we are the one in power. You are the one in power, you're not empowering the people. All you empower is your cronies and the so-called emirs. You see, the governors and the emirs, the elite, honestly, they have failed the people. I must be honest with you. Now you can imagine if the bandits could now attack an emir.
Yes.
That's the emir of Kaura Namoda.
Yeah.
That's where you have the Federal Polytechnic, Kaura Namoda, and that's where the railway line ends in Nigeria, Kaura Namoda. Now, if they could, engage the emir, the convoy of the governor has been attacked, they're telling you it is no more business as usual.
All right, let's go into more dailies this morning. 070-317-56537 is the number to send us a text or a WhatsApp message to be part of this conversation. 070-317-56537 is the number to send us a text or a WhatsApp message. Let's talk border closure for a moment. And, a lot of reasons have had to come up with regards to the reopening of the borders. But according to this day newspaper here, says negative impact of impact of the closure forced Buhari to reopen borders. Now, the adverse effect of border closure on the organized private sector and ordinary Nigerians compelled President Muhammadu Buhari to have a rethink and heed the recommendations for the reopening. This was led by this day, a top presidential source who did not want to be named, gave insight into recommendations of the Presidential Committee chaired by the Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, disclosed one of the significant issues which stood out in the summary of the committee's finding and recommendation was the negative impact of the border closure on the private sector operatives and productivity of businesses in the country. This day learned that the committee reported that following the closure of the borders on August 20th, 2019, there was a very high inventory and unsold finished manufactured goods, especially those with the market base and significant presence in West Africa, which it said had resulted in unemployment and poor credit rating. A top government official also disclosed that the commencement of its work, and the committee ordered a comprehensive and objective impact assessment and found that despite the significant benefits of the partial border closure in helping to curb the activities of smuggling, irregular migration, and other forms of criminality, among other benefits, the committee finding reveals that the policy was potentially detrimental to Nigerians' overall immediate and long-term economic, security, diplomatic, and social interest. He also said the committee recommended that Nigeria, as a signatory to the recently signed African Continental Free Trade Agreement and a member of the ECOWAS Trade Liberation Scheme, needed to remove all barriers to free movement of goods across the continent, significantly work towards reopening land borders before the commencement of the 30 in January 1st, 2021. Well, I'm wondering why it took the government, over a year to actually figure out why the closure of the border had adverse effect on private owned businesses. Even as much as we understood, like they said, one of the reasons for the closure of the borders was to stop the smuggling of arms and ammunition into the country, which was a very significant thing to have done. But I think that policy overstayed its welcome. And, we saw the adverse effect of this on Nigerian traders in Ghana. Even there are stories of traders who didn't make headlines, like traders in Togo, traders in Benin Republic. We have a lot of Nigerians who are trading on these borders regularly and consistently. And this really brought high level of unemployment. Why do you think it took them this long to really come to this, for the president to say
the decision now
yes.
taken? Well, you won't have to blame them that much. Don't forget that the pandemic actually is one of the reasons why perhaps they were not able to really see, because at that period in time,
yes,
there was no activities anywhere around the world, So I think it's one of the reasons. But now coming after the pandemic, saying, that knowing fully everything already was stagnant, everything were more like being passive, nothing was happening. You understand? And now for the economy to bounce back, it became so difficult. Because why? The closure of the borders is now having that effect, negative effect that is now coming openly, staring the government and the people of Nigeria in their face.
Okay.
So that is, I think, pandemic cover up and pandemic also helped the issue. Maybe I did there's no pandemic, we still have been running that skeletal businesses here and there. We think it's happening, it's not happening. But thank God for the pandemic, so it brought that effect to be more impactful.
Yes.
So I think that's the reason why they now saw the need, this day. And you see, there's one thing we do. We don't check when we put in policies. When you put in policies to be as a sort of measure,
okay,
you must always, at least at every significant interval, you must cross-check. You must do your findings. You must do your survey to know the effect of that policy. Is it affecting the people, the economy, the system positively? What is the ratio? Compare the negative and to the positive. So when you now see that the advantage is lower compared to the disadvantage, you know that policy is not going to work. So if there would be cause for you to re-amend that policy so that the advantage should be more than the disadvantage.
Okay.
But in this case now, the advantage is so low, just to curb smuggling and to curb migrants, to curb smuggling of goods and arms into the country.
And then I was with my mom over the weekend, and then we were talking about rice and oil, and I was like, she was like, there's still foreign rice in the market. I'm like,
very well.
And I'm like, how is there foreign rice in the market? The whole essence of this closure of our borders. And then I had to ask myself the question, was the impact of maybe this is on the part of food now. We don't really have enough information on the part of the smuggling of ammunition, because ammunition is not a legal business to do in the country so far, as we know. So maybe there has been a high impact on the level of arms and ammunition, but was there impact on this particular issue of the smuggling of arms and ammunition into the country with the level of banditry that we still hear? And these bandits have weapons, they have guns. The Boko Haram, we've not heard that, oh, they've run out of ammunition yesterday, or that, oh, they retrenched because their ammunitions were out. We still see our military engaging these people in gun battle every single time they face them.
When you're talking about the aspect of the arms being smuggled into the Nigerian land through the borders, you will understand that it is not only being smuggled. What about those people? There was a time I read it in the news, that arms were being dropped to these various bandits and the terrorists through chopper, helicopter. So that means that there are people in these high places that are behind this thing. And when you're talking about, you see, one of the reasons why that aspect of banditry and terrorism has not been covered in Nigeria is because there are people within Nigeria who have the power, who have the wherewithal, that are their sponsors.
Well, definitely. I think I don't know if it was you I was talking to, and then I was talking about a movie that I saw that actually spoke about the gun business and how
it's been run.
How it's been run in Africa, you know, and how like the countries where they have laws and policies against these things are the countries where these ammunitions are being made and being transported to Africa.
Mhm.
So I think there's still a lot for us to do as a country, even as a continent as a whole, because when you look at how much weapons are coming into Africa, I don't actually have those statistics right now, but I used to save them up somewhere on my phone.
You see, look, let's forget it. These weapons, they come through our borders, not only through the land borders. Please.
You know, there were stories.
The ones that comes through the seaport were even more in containers.
You know, there was a story on one of the dailies sometimes, I think during the height of the pandemic, with regards to these illegal gold miners who are giving weapons for gold and for some of our mineral resources. So that's another angle that, you know,
trade by barter
that needs to be checked, because when you wonder how some of these bandits have weapons, places like Zamfara, where there's deposit of gold, you know, and you know, you look at how are these bandits getting these weapons, how are these exchange being done?
And when you look at the weapons being used, these are the weapons that you find out that in other African nations where the bandits and the so-called warlords have put down their weapons. Those are the weapons that are being shipped, transported to Nigeria mostly, because you know, some business.
It's a business, actually. It's a business.
You see, it's a racket that the people that are behind are so powerful. Even in America, you saw what is happening.
Yes,
the people behind it are the powerful people.
All right.
So it's everywhere. It's difficult, but the only thing that the government can do is for the government to make sure that its personnel, the people that are meant to watch the borders, are well taken care of. With that, there won't be any proliferation of any kind. Because why? When the people are welfare, their welfare is being taken care of with good take home. You see, by the time people want to bring in such thing to bribe them, it will be a bit difficult. Though there will always be one Judas among them, but that it will be minimal.
All right, let's talk COVID-19 right now. Do want to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. That's the number to send us a text or a WhatsApp message to be part of this conversation here this morning. It said states plan tough enforcement as new COVID-19 cases surge. A state government on Sunday renewed COVID-19 protocol enforcement as the country battled increase in cases of coronavirus. Officials of the state include Lagos, Anambra, Ogun, Kaduna on Sunday told Punch as from Monday today, they would step up enforcement of COVID-19 preventive measures, such as wearing of face masks, social distancing in vehicles, hand washing. Recall that following the persistent increase in COVID-19 cases in the country in April, the federal government introduced the phase 1 lockdown in Lagos and Ogun State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory from April 27 to May 4th. The country also went through a phase 2 from May 5th to June 29, and third phase from June 30th to July 27. During the period, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and state government banned gathering in worship places and stopped interstate travel. Since July, many Nigerians have abandoned non-pharmaceutical interventions such as wearing the face masks and social distancing. This have triggered the second wave of the virus, which the PTF announced on Thursday. And according to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, no fewer than 77,933 cases have been recorded in the country as of Saturday. Also, 1,218 deaths have been recorded during the period. Now, on Friday, it was reported that between December 7th and December 16th, we have recorded an increase in 5,809 cases. Now, following the task force announcement, the state government has taken steps to stop a further spike in COVID-19. And Atiku Abubakar was on the papers this morning saying that we should stop all flights coming in from the US and the UK with regards to these issues. I was even worried. I was opportune to just some of my colleagues trying to stream particular faith-based organization service during their anniversary, and I looked at it and I'm like, doesn't these people have an idea that there is coronavirus? Why is there this large gathering? I think that is the first place I think that's the place we need to deal with this issue, the religious side to this pandemic or to this coronavirus, where there are some people who are downplaying this pandemic as much as possible, even if the cases are not as much as the federal government say. But for the fact that the world is dealing with a global pandemic, shouldn't that be enough reasons for people to exercise caution?
Yeah, it's enough reason for people to exercise caution. But at the same time, what our government has failed to do, which I think it's very, very important, is that you see, looking at our marketplaces and everywhere where we go, and the numbers of cases of COVID-19 that has been reported, the government should look into it and let us look into it holistically and say, ask question, what is the reason why the cases has been this minimal? That's what we should see. We should stop looking at what is happening in the US, in UK, but we should look inward. What are those things that is happening? Because if the way we gathered, the way we overcrowd places in Nigeria is the same way that it has happened in the US, and you have that numbers of Delta and COVID cases in the US.
Are they even gathering the way we are gathering?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That if it's the way we gather in Nigeria, you know that their case there will be so high than what they have at the moment. Okay, the way we overcrowd places, and here we have the limited cases. Then the government should look at it. We should study our system. We should study our body. We should study what is the actual thing. That is what we should leverage on. We should stop looking at the Western world, what they are doing. It is how, you see, you want to develop. Stop copying those people there. Because sometimes what they do differs from your own case, because your own case differs from theirs. So you should look at your own vicinity. The case happening around you, what makes your case differ is what you need to study to build on. Do you understand? Why am I saying this? If there are some things medically or biologically about Nigerians, or there are some things that Nigerians take in that minimize,
I think Africa in general.
Yeah, Africa in general, let's put it that way, that actually minimize the effect of COVID on the life of of Africans, then that's what we should look into. That's the aspect we should look into and see how can we take advantage of that thing and make the best of it. That's what we should be looking at. Instead of us making noise, saying we'll put on the mask. But over the time, are you saying if this is what the death has been recorded in Nigeria, 1,218 in Nigeria as a whole, that's the death that has been recorded over the period of the COVID. Then does it mean in the past years, how many deaths were recorded ordinarily without pandemics? Do you understand? We should ask this question. Are they saying because I heard that those people that died, it's either COVID or one thing or the other that killed them. That's what we had. But if we have just 1,218 deaths so far, then we should look, what is that thing that is putting us at the top? That's what the government should be looking into. That's what we should develop. That's what we should prioritize.
Okay. I'd like to agree with you on that. I remember talking with one of my friends, Chika, and she was talking about what is being done with regards to research in terms of how much of the fact that Africa as a whole is not recording that high rates of death, and even the severe cases. We saw that COVID-19 did not come to Africa until flights from these countries where this COVID came into the country. That was when Africa had this. So Africa could have been smarter by shutting down their borders at the initial stage when this particular pandemic started, and would have recorded even less cases than other parts of the world.
Because most of their families were out there, and they saw the way the thing was ravaging them over there. So they have to open the airways until they all come back to the safe haven. God has made Africa a safe haven for us at this point in time. We need to thank God for that.
All right, let's take a few messages here. Olusoga Ajayi in Odunlai Ikorodu says the country is a comedy channel in heaven. Whenever God wants to laugh, he will just tell Angel Gabriel to tune to Nigeria's channel. Government magic. All right, that's Olusoga Ajayi. All right, let's keep those messages coming in on 070-317-56537. Sam in Ikotun says the current state of insecurity is a function of deliberate bad governance over the years. You can intentionally inflict pain on people, but to control how people would react may be difficult to curtail. This is the reality we have to manage, and to effectively do this is speedily and visibly reverse the trend. All right, that's Sam in Ikotun. The decision by the monarch in Castina for people to carry arms in order to defend themselves is out of it, because the so-called terrorists are also part of them, of which will be so difficult to identify and bring them down. Also, there is no reason for government to engage the terrorists that kill innocent people without purpose. Government only needs to be sensitive and take insecurity serious. This is AK Isaac from Alausa Ikeja. All right, this is from Austin in Magboro. Says, believe you me, banditry and all the unrest in the northern region are the creations of man for selfish reasons. However, the war could be defeated with the unity of all the northern leaders. Except that is done, the hostility will continue. Hence, both the sponsors and the hoodlums are making great gains with ransom paid regularly to regain freedom. This is Austin in Magboro. All right. This is from Dozino here in Journalist Estate. Arepo says, I live in Jos Plateau State and I have been to states in the Northeast. The number of Amajiri I saw in Borno, Bauchi, and Gombe was alarming, not to talk of other states in the Northwest. Also, a lot of vulnerable children are on the streets, which makes it easier for criminals to recruit them into banditry and insurgency. There is a very big problem in the North, which is gradually creeping into other states in Nigeria. Some elites in the North are benefiting from this insecurity. This is Dozino in Arepo. All right. This message is from Wale Matthew in Ipaja. Says, I was wondering why America and UK corona starts increasing, Nigeria corona also increase. Or are the state governors expecting another 1 billion from the federal government as they see this COVID-19 as business ventures? We did NSAS and there was no much increase in this way. It is well. All right, that's Wale Matthew in Ipaja. Mr. Wale, okay, this is a different Wale again. Mr. Wale in Peace Estate, Barua says, how will under 18 years marry and a legislator pushing for them to vote? There is a cultural and mental difference between the North and the South. God bless Nigeria. All right, Mr. Wale sending us that text this morning. Government needs to close down our airports and stop the elite few from traveling, whether you like it or not. Most elites affected by coronavirus infections are those that go out and are coming. Nigeria today is no longer secure under this government. That's why we need restructuring. Elder Johnson in Imude sending us that text message. Chuks in Ikeja says, the comment by Femi Adesina on Boko Haram is unfortunate and absurd. The presidency and all his aides have lost touch of reality on ground. It says, please permit me once again to use this platform to draw the attention of the CP Lagos State Police Command to the nefarious activities of his men along the Ikorodu Road in front of the Bertola Machine 2 before Anthony bus stop in Wadi Keja. After my last comment, they disappeared, but they are back there since last Saturday. All right. They said the statement made by Mr. Femi Adesina proves that the presidency and the entire team has totally lost the idea of what governance is all about. He also says the Nigerian armed forces are always ready and willing whenever instructed to mobilize against IPOB and other harmless group that are only agitating for change to the status quo, while terrorists and other criminal elements are busy burning down the entire north. Yet we have a retired general who promised Nigerians heaven on earth as president, but the entire world are watching them closely. Says here the custom in several locations told Nigerians of containers of arms imported into Nigeria illegally seized at the port, but thereafter no arrest, no prosecution. This is Chooks from Ikeja. All right, let's take some text messages. 070-317-56537. Julius Ogumokun in Igondo, Lagos says, I must confess this country don't tire me safe. Some people are blaming government for finding it difficult to block the bandits, Boko Haram members. At the same time, again, are calling for cancellation of NIN registration. Now, wow. All right, that's Julia sending us that message in this morning. 070-317-56537. Another lockdown again. No palliative was given to elderly. No palliative was given to retirees. Hired cost of transportation. Palliatives hoarded by government. Many Nigerians died of hunger. Yet another lockdown again. May God help Nigeria. And the same in Itoki. So there has not been any confirmation of another lockdown. And the conversations right now are saying that we cannot afford another lockdown, but we have to do what we need to do right. Let us do what we need to do. Mr. Laurent, okay, says, bro, Chris from Agboro says, okay, the great country has been blessed. The great country God blessed has been buried in the hands of our rulers, and Nigerians are looking. Okay. I'm gonna have to come back to your message. There's a lot of short words in your message. Eze from Riverview says the main reason why Nigerians copy the West is to gain their sympathy whenever they want to go for loan. All right, that's Eze from Riverview. All right, we'll come back to these text messages. It's 8:45 already on the radio this morning. Do well to be part of the newspaper review. Send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. Well, the national identification number has actually been generating a lot of conversation with regards to the linking of that number to our SIM cards. So telecom workers reject 2 weeks deadline for subscribers. So workers in the nation's communication industry under the aegis of Private Telecommunications and Communications Senior Staff Association of Nigeria over the weekend rejected the 2 weeks deadline given by the federal government to telecom operators to block subscribers' line that failed to link them up with the national identification number. Now, in a statement by the President and Secretary Opeyemi Tomori, content that it was impossible to achieve the deadline, saying to register 170 million Nigerians that are yet to be registered within 2 weeks is a tall order that can never be met with the present embargo in the present approach of registering people. The union asked the federal government not to push Nigerians for it, lamenting that we are disturbed by the insensitivity of the federal government in the press statement. We are forced to believe that the usual, the government wants to punish Nigerians for our own ineptitude. All right, this is the comment here this morning. But then, a lot of people are still saying there's a lot of possibilities that the government would definitely extend this particular issue of the 2 weeks, because if we have 170 million Nigerians making use of SIM cards, and as we speak, only about 46 million have been registered. In fact, on another headline, the federal government has ordered probe for payment of digital identification number, and this has raised concerns. So the federal government had frowned at the extortion of applicants for the digital identification number by some enrollment staff in the National Identification Management Commission, and advised that such acts should be stopped henceforth. The Minister for Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Ali Pantemi, who issued the directive in a statement on Saturday, advised all applicants to resist such request as the federal government is already bearing the cost of the registration. Right now, he insisted that the digital identity number is completely free for all Nigerians and legal residents with resident permit from the Nigerian Immigration Service. It has been brought to our attention of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ibrahim Pantami, that some applicants for the digital identity number alleged to have been asked to pay for the service. Apparently, one of my colleagues at work here had a fair share of that experience of being asked to pay about 5,000 naira.
Registered.
Yeah, to get registered, And, I'm just wondering why Pantimi is not addressing the fact that you have only approximately 46 million Nigerians who have national identification number, and you have 170 million Nigerians who have SIM card. How do you want to bridge that gap in 2 weeks? There is COVID-19. Lagos is enforcing lockdown. So what it means, if you are going to avoid large gatherings, so it means that Lagos NIM centers are supposed to be locked down. If we are going to actually avoid, it means the Presidential Task Force approaching NIMC office should get there and tell everybody to leave because we are avoiding large gatherings.
Daniel, you see, we have always been saying that we are peculiar people with peculiar problem and peculiar country. Having said that, looking into today's registration of the national identity number and the SIM card to be linked with, you will understand that I said it last week that whether we like it or not, it's going to be extended. And one thing you should know, this thing is not just going to be what work out in just even 1 month, in 2 months, it will not work out. It's going to take almost a whole year for everybody to comply. That's the honest truth. You said only 46 million people even have that number, identity number.
Yes.
What about those that don't have? They are not going to register. That's what it implies.
Yes.
Now, before they can register, you know how the crowd is going to be. We are talking about COVID-19. And one of the measures to prevent it is not to overcrowd places. That's one of the measures. Now, if you want, out of about 200 something million people, only 46 has been able to register. Then what about let's put it the average, let's say 100 million people still there have not registered. How do you think the government can meet up with this within this short period?
There are possibilities of them if they can, because I feel like this would require more than I don't think that the NIMC has the manpower.
Ad hoc workers.
Yes, ad hoc workers can be recruited specifically for this. But 2 weeks is still quite a short time.
I am telling you, if we want to be honest with ourselves, we want to get good results without mumbo jumbo, we must let it be open for a period of a year.
1 year.
A year, please. So that everyone will now
thinking 6 months.
Everyone will now know that you have been given enough time. So if you don't have the opportunity to register this week or this month, when you have the opportunity within the 1 year, you'll be able to register. So by then, whoever does not register will now, everybody will say, I said, you've gone too far. The government has given that space of time for you to register.
But with the level of insecurity, and one of the things Pantimi has raised from the very beginning is to be able to control and track down every single number. Is 1 year not too much a time?
Excuse me. Nigeria is a continuum. The country is a continuum.
Okay.
It's not something that we say because we want to achieve it here. It's a bus that is going to stop there. No, it's a continuum. It's going to continue. So, and don't forget that this thing we are talking about, the registration is going to be continuum as well. Because why?
Okay.
Every child infant that is born today, we get to a level that he has to come and register. It's a continuous thing. It's not going to be just one off. No, it's not one off.
Yes. It would continue.
Yes, now at a certain age. you must register. So it's continuous. We should stop this fire brigade approach to everything. No, give room, let people go and register, and let the telecom communications be able to to link it with their database. It's going to be easier that way. Don't just combat people with problems. Enough problem that Nigerians are going through. Tell me, the person that has not eaten, the person that doesn't have a work, all you could tell him is to go and register. I will tell you, what rubbish are you talking about? You are not providing me job, no nothing, no palliative, nothing, no incentive, nothing to cushion. But sometimes when they talk about dividend of democracy, it makes me sad inside when I hear that word. Though it was Obasanjo that introduced the word and his cohorts, then they said dividend of democracy. What is dividend of democracy? The right of the people. You are not telling them you are giving it to them at a cost. That's what you're saying. That's what they are saying there. But as it is our right as citizens to go and register. Not that you force it on us that we must register at this also period of time, and because of that we will neglect our means of livelihood, we'll neglect all other things that we are doing, and we will now, there will be stampeding, that we'll be going crazy for what? No! Let us take it step by step. Let people go out and do it with ease. With ease. That's how government does things. You don't just make things, don't mandate things by force with people, for people. No. Let them take their time to do things. Okay. You see, I've always been saying that government is not about you exercising power and dominion on your citizen. Government is about you making the people to feel the positive impact of your governance in their lives. That's government. Government is not you that you should. No, the government are the people, because that's what democracy is about.
Yes.
It's for the people, by the people, and it's not by the people. That's democracy. So it should not be that because you feel people that are put in place to run you are there as servant, to run the affair of the nation, to steer the ship.
Well, there's a lot of conversations. In fact, I'm getting text messages talking about, places where this NIN registration is supposed to be done, and people who are being asked to pay money. In fact, Richard in Ijushaga is saying that in Ijushaga, please help escalate to this government that we're being asked to pay 5,000 naira to register. And I think one of my colleagues also wanted to do the registration last week, and she was telling us that they told her to bring 5,000 and she left the place. So, but this is where we have to stop right now. We have to stop right now and to say that we must do what is right. In this time, let us please stay safe. With the surge in the COVID-19 pandemic uprise, let us please do our best to make sure that we stay safe wherever we find ourselves. Thank you so much, Adeyemi Adelu, for joining us this morning on the radio. And we'll do this again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock to 9. But on the other side of 9 o'clock, at 9:15 would be the big question. Do well to be part of the conversation on the big question. The phone lines will be open for you to be able to make in your contributions on the big question. My name is Daniel Adaja. Good morning.
We are WFM 91.7, the voice of women, using radio as a tool for women development. We condemn the abuse of women, girls, and children in any shape or form. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Uncle Dentist, what are cavities? And how does Colgate protect my teeth from cavities? Does it use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Most tooth pains are caused by holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavities.
It's time to upgrade to the world's most trusted toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Colgate is recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
Tonight is the night, 7 hours.
Tonight again? I beg. I don't get that strength.
What do you think I was singing about?
Oh, now I get. You Inspector and free unlimited night browsing.